Hello, this is Kade, and this is a little bit of a late, Origin 600i overview in my opinion, as well as some feedback towards, or maybe reaction towards some of the feedback that I've heard from other people. So, for starters, I would like to start with a question. Is the Origin 600i a ship you need? So is this a ship you need? And the answer to that is no. The Origin 600i is not a ship you need, it's a ship you want. And the reason can be fairly simply explained when we look at the exploration version. CRG themselves have stated clearly that capabilities-wise, the Origin 600i in the exploration module is as capable at exploring as the constellation Aquila, which is a lot cheaper. And when last sold, even more still cheaper, and for Carrack will far outclass it within this purpose. And beside that, for the touring module ship, they've clearly said this is not a ship that will make you money. This is on the smaller end of a personal yacht, so it is a ship that would likely cost you money to operate. Conclusion, it's not a ship you need, it's a ship you want. So if that's all you wanted to know, you can just go away now and you have your answer. So, with that cleared up, let's continue on and let's reply a bit to a feedback I've heard from some people, smaller and larger, is that they don't get the concept of virtual luxury. And I kind of get where they're coming from when you look at it from some perspectives. Because virtual luxury, like I'm paying real money for virtual luxury. What use does that have? And the point is, as we previously discussed, it has no use. It's something you want. And something you want in generally does not have more use than something you need. So, okay, I get it, you don't want to pay for that, but you don't have to. However, there are also reasons why you may, want it actually to have that virtual luxury. I mean, from my personal perspective, I will be role-playing in this game a lot. I mean, that everything is put into the game that massively supports that. And to me, that's something I only can cheer on because I love role-playing. And my character, will have, this luxury. It's just part of who they are. It's like they have plenty of money in the universe. And they have their fleet of combat ships, but when there's nothing to be blown up around, they will just want to chill out and relax. And that's why my fleet has ships like this Origin 600i Touring and the Origin 890 Jump. So from that aspect, actually, I have a use for virtual luxury. And I also just like the whole concept behind it personally. So that's virtual luxury to me, and I get that for some people it makes absolutely no sense, but to me it makes sense. And then there's also people that were expecting a smaller, cheaper, more versatile ship. And then I'm looking do you even look at the lore-wise of the ship manufacturers? Because Origin is a luxury brand. A luxury brand is not going to show up with a toolkit. That's not the thing. They build something that, in whatever they build very specific types of equipment, ships, cars, planes, whatever it is. A luxury brand builds that. It's very specific to that. They build them to absolute excellent standards in both style and engineering. And they will charge you a hefty premium for it. That's what this Origin Jump works. If you want a ship that can be sold in different configurations or even adapted on the fly and not cost too much money and be relatively inexpensive to operate, a manufacturer like MISC has their Freelancer series, fits perfectly within their brand. RSI has the Constellation series, it fits perfectly within their brand. Origin, as a luxury brand, a multi-role, somewhat cheaper ship, simply does not fit in their brand. Why would you have any interest in that? I mean, on the low end of the scale, okay, they got their 300 series, which have some of that aspect in there, but it's, you know, in your low end you want something to get people into your brand. But as soon as you go above that, it's just not really interesting anymore. So yeah, you will sell, you know, because Origin compared often to BMWs when it comes to car, like, yeah, you will sell a BMW 1 Series, 2 Series, and then you get to your 3 Series, and then you really start to get, okay, then you go to the M3, then you go to the M5, and things start to get more focused on what they are, and not like there are 20,000 different versions. Like, okay, with cars you put in different engines and things like that. Well, that's about it. And if you look at the brochure of the Origin 600 series, like, it reflects this in its entirety. And I mean, even in the end, where you get like a choice between leather colors and some stonework for your ship, and it's like, that's so dignified, so pointing out to what the brand is and what the brand wants to offer you. It wants to offer you this luxury. And I really think that you should not even compare Origin on the high end to, say, a BMW, but it's something you can really compare more towards, you know, things like a Rolls Royce. You know, it is about a luxury. It has the capabilities, but it is about that luxury. It is all about having the best materials, all about having the best engineering. And it is all about being, you know, flown around through space in the absolute best of comfort that cannot be offered. And of course, you know, as a real person sitting behind your computer that's playing the game, you're not going to experience that. But from a role-playing perspective, it just makes a lot of sense. And I think within a universe that Star Citizen is creating, where literally everything can be done, you need to have ships like this in there, because it simply makes sense. Now, okay, I've already personally made clear, like, I have one of these ships, so I do really, really love it. I mean, I saw it on Friday afternoon. I was helping around in Gloria, part of the volunteer team there, and it was absolutely a beautiful ship to me. And, you know, I'm really, really glad to have added it to my fleet. Because if you look at the whole design of this ship, it just oozes that style and elegance to me, but also this refined engineering. I mean, a lot of the elements in there and the way, you know, the bodywork is moving and the whole plating's laid out is like, it's not there to be, you know, practical. That's not important. It is about the styling. It's not about practicality. You know, if you want practicality, get a Constellation. Simple. And on that note, there's a lot of people will be looking at the 600i and looking at, if they still have them, their Constellation Phoenix, and be like, the price difference is not that much. And really, if you look at what the 600i offers over the Constellation Phoenix, it, you know, it outclasses it in most ways. And the only thing in ornaments, it's slightly worse. However, there's one important thing to realize. Actually, two things. Number one is not a given fact, but it could very well happen. It's that Constellation Phoenixes with LTI are going to be quite rare in the universe, because there were only limited sale and quite a lot of them have been melted over time. So it could actually be that a rarity factor of a Constellation Phoenix with LTI will make it more valuable in the universe than an Origin 600 series. However, there's also another thing to realize, which is very, very important, and that comes down to maintenance. A Constellation Phoenix is still a constellation. You know, the entire guts and the structure of the ship are a constellation, which means that finding spare parts and replacing parts, you know, doing repair work of any sort, is going to be a lot cheaper. Reason being is that Constellations are quite common ships, you know, so spare parts are going to be found across the entire verse, whereas a Origin 600 series is going to be a far more limited ship, and spare parts for that are likely only found, if you're really lucky, somewhere random, but probably mostly from Origin dealers themselves, because they are the ones that sell them, and even they will have only limited quantities. And you will be paying a lot for them. As it's brings me back to an old Top Gear episode where Clarkson trashes this, I think, Renault Clio around Dublin or something it was. You know, he literally trashes it, like crashes a bit into things like that, and in the end, you know, he holds up like the front quarter panel, and he says, "Well, this is about, what was it, 60 quid?" You know, and then he holds up one from a Lamborghini, and he's like, "This is like 3,000 quid." And that's something you're gonna experience, you know, when you're looking at parts for a Constellation or a Origin 600 series. The Origin 600 series now is going to be a lot more expensive to maintain. And when you get into getting the ship damaged, it's going to be a heck of a lot more expensive to repair. So do keep that in mind before you switch over. And especially if you're going into exploration. Like if you go into exploration to make money, I would not get the Origin 600i exploration. I literally would either stick with a Constellation Aquila, or, you know, once you can get a step up and get the N4 Carrack. It's going to offer you a lot better capabilities. And, you know, when it is released, it might go up in price a little bit. But even if the Carrack becomes more expensive than the 600i, it just offers you so much more than the 600i will do when it comes to exploration. So that's a bit my overview around the Origin 600i. I mean, it all comes down to what I said at the beginning. It's not a ship you need, it's a ship you want. And I think the sales numbers are reflecting this. You know, it's not, I think, 2 days of about 500,000 or something like that. Well, you know, it's fairly decent, but this is never a ship that's going to appeal to the large masses. This is a ship that's going to appeal to a smaller subset of the community. And most of those likely are, you know, people that are already in the Contreras levels and things like that. They'll be looking at this ship and be like, that's really nice, I like that. Because don't be mistaken, you know, it's also a bit of a status symbol. You know, like it or not, you know, even virtual, you know, status symbols are really, really important. I mean, just look at the amount of money people pay in other games for cosmetic items. It's all about having that status symbol. So, I love it personally. I think it's a beautiful ship. I've added it to my fleet, but I don't think it's for most people. So, keep it all in mind, you know, make your decisions wisely. It should be up until Monday, I think, the sale going. And I will see you next time. Thank you for watching.